Jai Jinendra Bachcho. I hope you can hear me out clearly. Uh, Wishing you a happy new year. This is our first class for the year 2024. Yay, right? Are you all excited?
Yay!
Perfect. I like that. You all are excited, and that's a great sign, right? So we'll do good learning together today. Okay. Let me see. I have turned off my. Okay, so this audio is turned off, which is great. So today, let's do this because this is. Let's see who all we have on the class. Okay, we have enough. We can get going. अच्छा, तो सबसे पहले let's do Namokar mantra together. Okay, and then we'll start from there. How about that? Do you see my screen shared?
Yes.
Okay, give me a second. Let me stop sharing once and start it again so that I can share what I exactly want to share, which is just the Google Chrome. Okay, that sounds better. Perfect. So let's do Namokar mantra first, okay? I'd like you all to recite with me. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam,
Taram,
Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajjhayanam,
Yaram,
Namo Loe Savasahunam,
Naram,
Eso Panchanamo Yaro, Savapavanam,
Anasaro,
Mangalanam
Ram
Chasave,
Chasapesi,
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Mangalam.
Great. Jai Jinendra to you all. Today we are going to start our topic with five senses. And that's a very simple topic. So, although that is the only topic we are supposed to cover today, but then I realized for kids 12 years and older, that would be a very, very simple topic. It's
My
a very,
brother was doing it.
yes, it's a
And
simple topic.
simple.
Very simple, right?
Too simple.
Too simple. And we have Maulik joining us as well. So, Jai Jinendra Maulik. So how about this? Since it's so simple, why don't you go ahead and can you give me the names of the five senses, but I want them in the right order. How about that? Since you said this is very simple, so let's start there. Can you give me the names of the five senses in the right order? बताओगे आप? नहीं? Okay. कोई और? Anybody else? हाँ. Anybody from the group? Yeah, you're going some there.
Smelling, tasting, sights, and hearing.
Okay. What was the first one you said?
Smelling.
No. So there is a trick for
Touching.
it.
Good.
Yes. The first one is touching, right? So,
Touching.
touching, then
Tasting.
tasting. Very good.
Smelling.
Perfect.
Hearing.
Wrong. So then comes the seeing.
Sight.
Seeing and
Sight.
and then hearing.
Then hearing. You know the best way to remember it in the right order? You go on your face from bottom to top.
Chin.
So chin is touch, taste, smell, seeing, and then hearing.
Sight.
Make sense? So
Yes,
that's the
very
best way
sense.
to remember them, right? These are the five senses, और जिनको हिंदी में बोला जाता है पांच इंद्रियां. क्या बोला जाता है?
पांच इंद्रिया.
Indriya, right? Indriya are the senses or sensory organs, है ना? So we are five sensed organs, right? Because we human beings are the actual term, the qualified term used for the human beings is Sanghi Panchendri. Sanghi Panchendri का मतलब क्या होता है? Panchendri मतलब who have five indris, five senses, and they are Sanghi. That is, they have the power of cognition. What do they have extra? The power of
Cognition.
right? They can rationalize things. They can apply the brain and understand things better, right, in a very advanced form. That is what is called as, or you would have heard this name even in the sciences, cognitive abilities. We have cognitive abilities, है ना? So so that's why, what is the term used for human beings? And there are other jeeves also, which are Sangi Panchendri, like lion, like elephants, and so many of them. But the term used for is Sanghi Panchendri. Always remember this. ठीक है ना? So that's one extra interesting thing. But before we jump into that part too much, let's do this video. It's a very simple, very small video. It kind of shows the connection between soul and the five senses, and it's like drawing the parallel. So it's like an analogy, right? The analogy is being used so that the concept sticks in your mind. Okay, so just take it as an analogy. It's not like exactly. It's just a way of defining and making everyone understand the concept in a simpler form. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So let me start the video then.
Jai Jinendra kids! Today I'll tell you some knowledgeable and interesting things through a story. This story is about a child and his mother. So children, listen to it very carefully. Once upon a time, a child was unable to sleep. So he ran to his mother and told her, "Mom, I cannot sleep." His mother said, "Why couldn't my sweetheart sleep today? Come here. Today your mother will tell you a story." "Hooray! A story? Mom, which story?" "Son, today I'll tell you the story of a great country. The great country is our body itself."
Okay, so
What?
it's drawing the parallel.
Mom,
okay?
is our body also a great country? Yes, son. Our body is similar to a great country. It too has many different things as a great country has. Do you know our body country too has a king? It's our soul or Atma. Ma, what is our soul or Atma? Son, our soul is the energy of our body country. As our TV works using electricity, which is its energy, similarly our body country works using soul's energy. But both of them are invisible to us. Oh, our soul king has a prime minister too, which is our mind. As a country has a prime minister who controls and monitors all the works of the country. Similarly, our body country also has a mind as the prime minister, which controls and monitors all the functions of our body country. As we operate our TV with a remote control. Understood? Now, as a country has its army. Similarly, our body country too has 5 armies. We call these armies as 5 senses or Panch Indriya. These 5 senses are present within our body country. Oh, really, Mom? Is it actually like this? Yes, my son. The first sense or Indriya of the body country is our skin, by which we can touch anything and everything. This skin is also called the touch sense or the sparshan indriya. Mom, what is this touch sense? Son, do you remember that in the morning you apply cream on your face? How does that feel? Soft. And son, when mom pulls your ear in order to punish you, how does that feel? Sorry, Mom, don't punish me, it hurts. I shall not repeat the mistakes ever. So all these feelings are understood by the touch sense. Got it? Now, you will know about the second sense of the body country. And that is our tongue. Sweetheart, with our tongue we can taste things. The tongue is our taste sense or rasna indriya. Mom, what is this taste? Son, do you remember when Dad buys you a chocolate and you eat it? How does that feel? Sweet, sweet, yum, yum. And when I give you medicine when you have fever, then how does that feel? Ew, yuck. So son, this is what is called the taste sense. Now, the third sense of our body country is the nose, with which you can smell anything. So the nose is also called our smell sense or Gran Indriya. Do you remember when Dad puts on the perfume? How does that feel to you? Nice, nice. So son, we know about the good and bad smell by the nose, which is the smell sense. Now we will move on to the fourth sense. That is our eyes. Eyes are the most beautiful creation of our body country, with which we can see everything. Eyes are also called the Vat sense or Chakshu Indriya. Son, with our eyes, we can view the God in the temples and also watch TV. Do you get it? Now, we will see the fifth sense of our body country, the ears or Karna Indriya. Ears are one of the important creations of our body country too, with which we can hear everything. With ears, we can listen to the good lectures of the monks' pleasant voices, and we can follow them too. Yes, Mom. So children, as the army protects the country from bad people, threats, and attacks, similarly, you have to use your five senses army in the right way. And you also have to control your soul, king, in such a way that it protects your body country from all the diseases. In the morning, viewing the God with your eyes. Listen to the pleasant sermons in the temples with your ears. Apply holy water on your forehead, and throughout the day, watch good things with your eyes. Listen to the good things with your ears. Do good things with your body country and prosper in life. Jai Jinendra.
You're on mute.
Sorry, beta. Yeah,
I
so I was saying it's a simple concept. Did it make
simple.
sense to you, Kavya?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just five senses, right? What's the best way to remember them, Kavya? Can you explain that, please?
Like from bottom to top, like
Yeah,
your chin is touch, your mouth is like taste,
very
your
good.
nose is smell, your
Sure.
eyes is sight, and then your ear is hearing.
Perfect. So these are the five sort of defenses or five ways through which our body understand things or get to know things, है ना? And once they get to know things, then our human brain is so powerful that it applies its cognitive ability, the sanghiness, to decipher them, to interpret them, to rationalize them, right? And that's how we are a higher form of the creation of beings, of the gatis, right? We are not just manushya. We manushya are in a they are considered as uh, sangi panchendra jeeves, right? So out of all the living beings that are that have some kind of body, sangi panchendra jeeves are the one who are at the highest level in the strata, basically, right? So that's what it is. Now in this case, they used a analogy, which is like they defined body like a what was the parallel that they draw? What did they compare the human body to? Malik?
A country.
A country, exactly. Like a country, our body is like a country, and then who is the prime minister of the or president of the body? Which yeah, go ahead, Malik.
The mind.
The mind or brain, right? The one that applies the cognition, which provides the commands and everything, right? Which controls the operations. That's our mind or brain. Hannah. And then the defenses. What are the defenses of the human body?
Like the immune system.
No, no. What
And
was
the top,
what in this video? What was it compared to?
like the
Your soul.
Are you
soul is
talking
the
about
king.
the armies?
Soul is the
Yeah,
king.
the five armies. The five armies. What are the five
The
armies?
feel, taste, smell, sight, and hearing.
Exactly. The five senses are kind of defined as the five armies. Hai. That's the comparison. Now, again, one can say, oh, no, immune system is the one that provide the defenses or provide is like the army. That's a different comparison. This is just a comparison, right? So, to explain the concept, that's how it has been defined. Make sense? ठीक है. So ये बहुत simple सा video था. I don't think this is something that will demand the complete 1 hour time. So what I thought of doing is today, let's cover another topic, which is again number 5. So number 5 has such a great significance in our culture, right? In Jainism in particular. Like, परमेष्टि कितने होते हैं? How many
Punch.
परमेष्टि there are? 5, right? 5. How many senses are there, Vikhyat, for human beings?
5.
5, right? How many paps are there? Then we say there are 5 paps or 5 sins. That's what we'll cover next. And then somebody says, okay, how many vrat are there? Then the same number, 5, right? So 5, there are so many 5s in our religion to remember things like Gyan, the knowledge is also 5 types. We'll cover it some other day, but that's how it is, right? So I thought, why don't I draw a connection, since the topic of curriculum today was 5 senses. So I started with number 5. Let me now explain to you the 5 sins, because we already covered 5 parmeshtis, right? The 5 stranja in Navokar mantra represent 5 parmeshti respectively, right? From Aryant Bhagwan to Siddha Bhagwan to Acharya Bhagwan to Padhyay and to all the sadhus, Sarva sadhu, है ना? ये 5 परमेष्टि करके ऐसे कवर्ड होता है, राइट? तो वो सब हमने कवर कर रखा है. तो I thought I will introduce to you the concept of 5 sins, or what we define as 5 pap. Why is it very important for us to understand a 5 pap? So that we have an awareness as a Sanghi Panchendri Jeev of these 5 paps. Because with our senses, you could actually end up doing any of these paps, right? And your temptations and sometimes your bad company will force you to do one or more of these sins by use of your one or more indri, one or more of senses, right? So first and foremost thing for you to save yourself from doing the pap is awareness of what these 5 pap are. What are the 5 sins that we should be avoiding? Hai. Then only you can make efforts to to basically avoid and completely abstain from doing these 5 paps. Okay? So let's cover that. But before I start, any questions on these 5 sins? Okay. So let me start the video. It's a very interesting video about 5 paps, and I will explain the names as they go. Okay?
1. Do you know to become a good boy or a good girl, the most important thing is to have good habits? We should always do good things. We should never do any bad things. Today we will listen to a very interesting story about a sweet, caring girl. Her father is a Brahmin Panditji. One day the girl saw people in her village going somewhere happily. She then realized that they were all going to Digamber Saint. The girl had never prayed, so she was really excited to see where Digamber Saint was. Then she started to follow the people. When she reached there, she saw the saint talking about 5 sins. She had no idea what a sin was. The saint told the girl that there are 5 bad habits, or 5 sins. He told her that you should not do any bad habits because if you do them, then you will get punished. The saint told the girl that there are 5 sins, which are called non-violence, lying, stealing, bullying, and greediness.
So these are the 5 names. Non-violence, that's hinsa, right? Then comes lying, which is jhoot bolna, stealing, which is chori, right? Then parigrah, which is like hoarding lots of things, right? And kushil, which is like non-celibacy, path of being too much indulgence, like being indulged in too many bad things. That's the 5th one. Okay, na? So these are the names that these are the names of the 5 paps or 5 sins that we should be avoiding. Okay, how do we avoid that? What are the things? Let's cover that next.
Non-violence means that you are killing or hurting other people. Lying means not telling the truth. You're hiding the real fact. Stealing means to quietly take someone else's things without asking them. Bullying means to have bad thoughts for someone else. Greediness means to keep on wanting more things even though you already have enough. The saint told the girl that in order to sacrifice these 5 sins, you should make a promise. When the girl heard this, she thought that the saint was telling her really good things. She also really wanted to be a good person, so she made a promise to not ever do these 5 sins. Then she excitedly ran home. She went to her father and told him that she made a promise to not do these 5 sins. When her father heard that she made a promise, he got really angry. He told her, "Why did you make these promises? You're still so young." The girl said, "Father, I have decided to be a good girl by doing all good things. That is why I made these promises. If you want me to break these promises, then come with me to the saint. I made these promises with him, so I will break them with him too." So then the girl and her father started walking to get to the saint. As they were walking, they saw many soldiers hurting a guy. They were about to kill him. The girl asked her father why the guy was getting punished. Her father said that the guy killed his friend. He did non-violence. That is why he's getting punished. The girl then said that if you hurt someone, it is called non-violence. You get a really big punishment by doing this. That is why I took a promise to never do this. Her father said that this is a good promise. Let's keep this promise and we can go break the others. As they continued walking, they saw a man whose tongue was being poked. The girl's father told her that the guy was getting his tongue poked because he lied and hid the real fact. The girl then said, "See, father, telling the truth is such a good thing and telling a lie is such a bad thing. Now I'm going to keep this promise too." Her father said, "Okay." As they continued walking, they both saw a person that was being put to jail by policemen. The guy was wearing handcuffs. The girl's father told the girl that the guy robbed things. This is why he's going to jail. The girl's father said, "See, if you steal something, you get such a big punishment. This is why I made this promise," said the girl. Her father said this is true. They continued walking and saw a person whose hands and legs were tied to a tree branch. 2 guys were throwing stones at him. The girl's father told her that people are throwing stones at him because he bullied someone. He had some bad thoughts or feelings for another person. This is why he is getting punished. The girl then said, "Father, I took a promise to never bully someone, right? Is it wrong to take this promise?" Her father said, "No, this is fine." So they continued walking. They saw doctors taking a sick person to the hospital. The girl's father said that the sick person is very greedy. He collected lots of things. He bought a lot of cars, buildings, and had a lot of money. The guy is always worried that nobody takes his belongings or ruins his cars. Since he had lost stress, he is sick now. A person like this is called greedy. The girl then said, "Father, I made a promise to never be greedy. I will only keep the things that I use." "What did I do wrong?" Her father said, "You're right." So because of this, she kept all 5 of her promises. Her father was very convinced and thought that these 5 sins are very dangerous and that they hurt a lot of people's feelings. We should all not do these sins or anything bad. We should never do non-violence, meaning to never hurt or kill anyone. We should never lie, meaning to not tell the truth. We should never steal, meaning to never take someone else's belongings without asking them. We should never bully someone, meaning to never keep bad thoughts about someone. Also, we should never be greedy, meaning to only keep the things that we need and give the rest away. So now we will promise to not do these 5 sins and become good people. We will, right? Jason and
Okay. Any questions on the 5 sins or 5 paps?
Not really.
No.
Very simple concept, right? It's about understanding them. So as per Jainism, we should be applying lots of caution and avoid these 5 sins at every cost. Now, there are situations where we unknowingly commit one of these paps, and in those situations, we should go to a temple and we should seek penance. That's why when we do the Das Lakshan, we at times go for pratikraman for penance, seeking penance, right? So that's what we should be doing. Maulik, you have a question?
So there's a classic Jain riddle about this. So if there's a deer who is going somewhere and then there are 2 paths and the deer took a path and a hunter asks you where the deer went, would you lie to him or would you tell him the truth and let the animal get killed because the hunter's so close to it? Like that's a classic Jain riddle. So I was wondering what did you
Yes.
do?
Oh, that's a very good riddle. I know the riddle, okay? So what would you do would you be telling the lie and basically protect the life, or you would say the truth and let the animal be killed? I have my answer. Let me reserve my answer to the end, but very, very, very good question, Maulik.
I would lie.
I would say
Okay.
lie. Even if it breaks, it saves someone's life. That's probably the most important
Okay,
thing.
so
I
that's
would
what
lie.
Vikhyat's answer is, and that's what Ashka's answer is. How about you, Kavya? What would you do?
What's the question?
I would lie.
You would lie as well, okay, and you will save the life. And how about you, Maulik?
I honestly would go with lie, but if there's an option, I just pretend I'm blind. Honestly, if that was an option, I'd lie.
Okay.
I mean,
No,
that's smart right there.
yeah, no, your answers
Smart.
are very right. For
Smart,
your
big
age,
brain.
yeah, for your age, your answers are very appropriate. If
That's smart.
if I'm facing
Smart.
one such guy, I would probably being
Run.
a young man, being a strong man, I would probably confront him. I would say, okay, I know where that animal is, but I'm not going to tell you that, and I'm going to protect the animal. That's also an option,
That's a
right?
cool answer.
So if
Yeah.
you have that's called as defense, right? So sometimes what happens, you may have to fight people to save, and that type of violence is permitted in Jainism. Okay, at least for laymen. We are all laymen, right? We are
Lemon.
not monks. We are Shravak, है ना? For
Okay.
Shravaks, uh, doing any kind of violence for defense of our country, for our people, for our religion is permitted, right? So if you have to
That's fair.
if you have to protect us a soul, a a innocent person, or your fellow being, or your if a Jaini bhai of yours, or your religion or your country, that's 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 actually permitted, है ना? So again, you being a
Permissible.
kid, I
Permissible.
would you being a kid, I will not recommend that for you, but being brave and standing up against such atrocious people, right? Is the right thing to do as well. है ना? So
Yep.
that would be my answer, Maulik. You asked me the answer, that would be my answer. How about that?
Smart answer.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Someone else also joined. It says T's iPhone, and then it
Yeah,
went.
he
He's
left.
what? Huh?
Okay, it went away. No worries. Okay. So I think somebody joined and then they got dropped off. Okay. So good answers. Okay. Now let me see. Let me see if there is one more video I was looking for, which is kind of contextual. It's about the Saptavyasan. Okay. Let me try to find it quickly. Where can I find it? Let's see in the playlist. Okay, in the stories. Okay, wait. Who's singing?
Not me. I'm not a singer. I'm a
Okay.
band person, not the same.
I heard someone singing, so I was like, wow, we have singers in our group too, which is kind of neat.
You have band people in your group also. Me.
No, no, you can train yourself to be a good singer. My daughter sings very good. My son sings too. They are being trained. So it's always possible, okay? You can do anything that you want to be. It just takes lots of practice. That's about it. Ella? Let's see. Okay, I'm not able to find it. Let's see if I can I did find it on my phone. So how about this? Okay, five senses. Saptavyasan.
I don't know.
Saptavyasan. Mhm. This is from Jain Pathshala. Okay. Okay, here it is. I think I found it.
Jai Jinendra kids. Today we will talk about some things
Can you
which people do for fun.
wait a sec. Let me share my
Here,
screen.
not see it.
Yeah. Let me
You're
share.
not seeing anything.
Yeah, I will share it now because I have not shared it, so you cannot see it. Here it is. Okay, and then there is Saptavyasan. Saptavyasan. Okay, that's the topic. Now, this is number 7. Sapt means 7. Okay, so we are talking about the 7 indulgences or 7 habits or 7 addictions. है ना? These are also avoidable things, and that's why we should be aware of them. Okay, so let's go through them.
Money or entertainment. Today we will talk about some things which people do for fun, money, or entertainment. While people may enjoy doing such things for the first time, they may soon become addicted to it without realization. And when it becomes a habit, they forget what's good and what's bad for them. For example, it's so much fun to watch TV and playing games on the mobile. But do you know that watching too much TV and playing games on the mobile for long hours may result in it turning into a habit? And slowly,
How many of you agree with me? Raise your hands. That watching too much of TV could become an addiction.
It's a big addiction.
Only person who does not think that is Kavya. She's slowly
It is.
raising her hand. Good.
The
Good,
biggest
Kavya.
addiction.
Right. It is an addiction. Okay. So it's very important. First thing is you should not be in denial. Okay. You should be aware that it can form a habit. Even playing video games and using phones can be a habit. Right. So first thing is awareness. You should not be in denial. It may be hard to break the habit, but at least you should be accepting it. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going.
your eyes start becoming weak, but still we like to play. Similarly, there are some actions which can spoil our life. Let me tell you about such actions. The first one is gambling. Any such game which involves using money or placing a bet to decide a winner is known as gambling. For example, playing lotto or raffle. Some people play cards or housey by betting on money. Even this is called gambling. Playing these games gradually become an addiction. In order to earn easy money, few people play these games again and again, and sometimes they end up losing everything. Hence, we should always earn money through hard work. We should never do gambling. The second one is eating non-vegetarian food. Is it a good thing to hurt, kill, and eat a living being just to satiate your taste buds? We should always have sympathy and compassion for all living beings. By eating non-vegetarian food, we become responsible for killing living beings, which is a grave sin, since it's an act of violence, which means hinsa. It is bad for our health too. That's why we should never eat dead animal body or any other non-vegetarian food. The third is
Okay. Any questions on this?
Nope.
Simple, right? Not
Simple enough.
simple enough. How about eating eggs? Is that
No.
violence? We
Yes.
should not, right? That's violence, right? So we should not
Mhm.
the best habit, like my kids, what they do always, they always check ingredients before
Yeah,
eating
like
anything.
once my mom didn't check ingredients, and then there happened to be eggs in there, and then
Sometimes
then
that
we could
happens.
and then we could eat it.
Exactly. So those things happen by accident, and then those things also demand the penance, right? Pratikraman.
Mm.
But we should, that's why, be very, very cautious, especially in this country, which is so much dependent on non-vegetarian
I mean,
food.
it's literally
Right?
known for non-veg foods.
Exactly. And they don't even, there are people who don't even know how eggs and meat is produced. They think, they don't even have an awareness that this is being produced by killing an animal. Like by meat comes from by killing an animal. There are so many kids of your age, you'd be surprised how many of them don't even have that awareness.
I
Right?
mean, but the part that they don't have awareness, I'm surprised. Not, but the part they don't have awareness, I'm surprised. But the quantity, I'm not surprised of.
Yes, yes. Good thought, Vikyat, right? So
Mm.
that's why for us it is very, because this is the one of the primary pillar of Jainism, non-violence, right? The first pap is violence and the first vrat is non-violence. है ना? So we all should be striving for that, and that's why we should be avoiding it at any cost. Now, less killing is the best living. That's the principle that Jains live by, right? Less killing is the best living. है ना? So yes, when we consume plant, that also causes the damage and damage of the one sensory organ plants. But that's considered as something that as a normal human beings, sometimes we have to do that kind of violence to survive. That's okay. But if you are doing it for indulgence, if you are doing it for taste, that you cannot, because it has now become your habit, or just to show off that I'm a modern, very progressive person, that's like not just committing a violence, but also you are projecting yourself as a non-truthful person, right? You are doing it just to show off, and those things should be avoided at every cost. Yeah, so that's the second of the Saptvasan. Now the third one is drinking alcohol. So let's talk about that.
drinking
Wait.
alcohol or liquor.
Um,
Do you know the process of making alcohol? Many kinds of fruits like grapes and other grains like wheat and jaggery are allowed to rot for many days. This results in the birth of Tras Jeev, meaning many minute, multi-sensed living beings in it. And that fermented liquid turns into alcohol. When we consume alcohol, all these minute living beings die, resulting in us committing sin through hinsa, meaning violence.
I never knew that.
We also lose control over our thoughts and actions when we consume alcohol. People start behaving very weirdly after consuming alcohol, and alcohol badly affects our liver and nervous system too. Consumption of alcohol kills us slowly. Hence, we should always stay away from alcohol. The fourth thing that we should
Okay, so the third thing is drinking alcohol. As per
Stay
Jainism,
away.
we have to stay away from it at every cost, right? So this is one of the practices that is forced upon people in getting more and more people are getting addicted to it, just out of not out of addiction as in addiction, but more out of a status symbol. And that again is something to be avoided, because first it causes lots of violence, and then second it gradually turns you into a bad human being, right? Whenever somebody is in, like I was talking to some of my friends, they did all the partying over the new year, and I was asking them, hey, what do you guys did over the new year? They said, oh, we did lots of partying. I said, okay, all what did you do? All they were able to talk about is how many drinks they had,
Oh
and
my.
no experiences to share, because they forget everything, right? Where, once they are out of their mind is controlled by alcohol
Foreign substance.
or in substance, exactly, they have no awareness of what they exactly did. What's the point of such fun, right? When you lose your controls on your senses altogether and you have no awareness. There are so many stories where a person of good birth, very good families, committed crimes under the influence of these foreign substances, including alcohol.
I
So many
mean,
stories. You know about the DUI driving, right? That's a punishable offense. How many people are killed just because this other guy was under the influence of a foreign substance, of drugs or of alcohol, and that led to them not being aware or not being in control of their senses, and they caused an accident, and they may have survived, but there are so many other people who die, right? So not only they commit an act of violence, but they have now they are guilt ridden also, that they unknowingly committed a crime, right? There are so many people who start drinking and then they commit so many bad things. They mistreat women, they they mistreat their family, they cause a lot of, they beat their wives, they do so many bad things, right? They get into quarreling, they start fighting with their friends, and whatnot, right? And some because they are good people, but because they do not have control over their senses, that's what happens, right? Now sometimes all these things start in a very jolly good mood, like, everyone is happy around you, and somebody starts drinking, and your friends may force you, like you are teenagers, right? Very soon you'll achieve the age of 18 or 21, and then your friends in your fraternity at your college or your sorority would try to force you into taking these bad substances. These are the things which one has to avoid at every cost, because as a Jain, you only have right to call yourself a good Jain if you do not have these habits. In particular, if you are abstaining yourself from drinking alcohol and drugs and whatnot, and smoking and all these bad habits, right? Before they kill you, because that's a slow and gradual process, right? They would definitely cause damage to people around you, and
slow but deadly.
exactly, and could be very deadly as well. Especially around New Year Day, there are so many accidents that happen just because somebody got into influence of drugs, and while they were not under influence of drug, they were very responsible. That once they took a drug, they had no awareness and they started driving cars, and when they came out of that influence, they were the first person to be very sorry, and very, they that made them cry, because they had no awareness of what they did while they were under the influence of that foreign substance. And that's why it is very important for Jains to avoid them, because that's what damages your willpower, and that's what damages your self control most, these addictive substances, है ना? Because तो control ही नहीं है. अब control नहीं है तो सोचो, किसी ने अगर अल्कोहल ले लिया, अब आप बोलो कि अब मैं ना I will, let's say you have taken a vow that I will not consume non-veg food now, but you are still drinking. What would have what could happen? You may
You
drink
forget.
and you may forget that I have taken a vow of not consuming non-veg food. And if you get too hungry at that point in time, you may end up eating non-vegetarian food also. So you are breaking your other vow of of consuming non-vegetarian food also, right? So that's why these things have to be avoided at every cost. And sometimes people commit stealing. There are people born on very rich families, and they are getting influence of these substances, and then their friends just push them to commit stealing as well. So these things happen. That's why it is very bad to be under influence of a foreign substance. Hannah, let's keep going.
Stay away from is stealing. Shyly picking up something or taking someone's things without asking them is known as stealing. Taking away someone's forgotten belonging is also stealing. Okay, tell me, while walking on the road, if you find and take away a toy that someone has left behind or forgotten, will that be accounted for stealing? Yes, that's stealing too, because it does not belong to you, right? Even in school, if you take away someone's pencil, eraser, notebook without asking them, is also stealing. No one likes people who
Okay, how about cheating? How about cheating in exam? Is that stealing?
That's stealing answers.
What do you think, Vikyat? Is that stealing?
I consider that worse than any form of crime.
Okay. So you think it's stealing or not?
It's worse.
Okay. How about you, Kavya?
It's kind of stealing.
Yes, it is stealing. So just be aware of that. Okay. So let's keep going.
steal, and no one becomes friends with someone who steals. And always remember that stealing is also a sin. The fifth one is hunting. Some people go to the forest or jungle to hunt animals and birds like deer, lion, tiger, birds, etc. just for fun. You must have noticed some people go fishing also. But isn't it wrong to hurt other living beings for the sake of entertainment? That's why we should never hunt other living beings.
Okay, so that also is a very favorite pastime in this country, right? People brag a lot about their hunting expeditions and all those things. Maulik, you have a question?
No, I was just saying that they were saying that there's some alternative to fishing that doesn't harm sea turtles because that's a major crisis. And then they spent so much time making some solution. I'm like, why don't they just stop fishing? It's not worth it anyway.
Exactly. I'm with you. Right. So there are these things which people have tried to build their own excuses. Oh, I'm only hunting the animals that kill other animals, or I'm only hunting and I let go the fish after I have, catch the fish. What is that called? There is a term for it, game fishing or something. They catch the fish and then let it go. Now, the problem with that is when they catch the fish, the hook goes inside
their
the
mouth.
mouth of the fish through its gill, right? So obviously it causes a lot of pain to the fish, right? Why should I be causing that much pain to a fish just for fun, right? Just catching it and letting it go, right?
It should be
All in all,
considered. It should be given a life sentence.
in this country, no, right? Because here the people are very particular about their gun rights, and they all brag about guns and owning more and more guns just for sometimes only for fun. And their idea of fun is hunting, gaming, those kind of sports, right? They consider them as sports. So again, like for a Jain person, it's a big no-no. That's the important thing one that you should remember. You may get up, get, you will be soon, you will become a person, a man or a woman, and then you will be subjected to such kind of temptations where some friend of you would invite you, hey, why don't you join me on a gaming expedition? Why don't we go to the Appalachian Mountains and then we'll kill a deer? Or they may say, okay, you know what, why don't you just accompany me? I'll not make you kill, but you can just watch and it will be fun. It's a great bonding activity. Uh, as a Jain, even if you try to, even if you don't do it, but you try to, you endorse it in any shape or form, then you accrue bad karma on your side, right? You get bad karma on your side. So it's better for you to politely or assertively say no to it, and say, no, this is not something I find, it's against my principles. And you can politely say no, depending on what kind of person they are, right? But most important thing is, it's the one of the saptvyasans, and we should be avoiding saptvasan at every cost as a Jain. ठीक है ना?
There are some addictions that ruin our relations with our family too. We should never do anything wrong just for the sake of money, fun, or entertainment. Wrong things done for fun gradually turn into habits and spoil our lives. These are also called as vyasan, meaning addiction. So, from today, let us all promise that we will give up all these vyasans. We will never get addicted to all these bad things in our lives. Okay? Jai Jinendra.
Okay. So we covered seven saptavyasan also, right? The seven addictions, the one that are completely avoidable and should be avoided by a Jain. Somebody who is not like, it's if you call yourself a Jain, then one should be completely abstaining from these vyasans, right? Otherwise, it's very difficult to justify you being a Jain. You will always be questioned morally. You will not be on a moral high ground. You will be questioned, right? That, hey, you are a Jain. You call yourself a Jain. Jains are non-violent, but you are committing an act of violence or doing something which is not permitted, right? So these things should be avoided, and you should be get into a practice of basically taking a promise, a vow in front of Bhagwanji to avoid, to basically abstain from these seven saptavyasan, right? This is a good habit. Like when you become a Jain, the mark of a Jain is you take a vow for life to abstain from these saptavyasan and then follow them very meticulously. Make sense? Okay. Any question, beta? Any question from
No.
you on these topics? Okay, good. Okay, so I think we are on time. Let's do this. These are the ideally we were supposed to only cover the topic of five senses, but then I thought it would be too less for you guys. You are, you are all teenagers. I think you deserve more. So I thought of covering these other sessions which are more relevant for your mind. And think about these. Think about the five paps. Think about the saptavyasan. And at the first opportunity, prepare your mind to take a vow to abstain from the saptavyasan. Okay? Make sense? Okay. Cool. So now let's do the Jinwani Stuti and then we'll end the session today. Okay? First, let's do Namokar mantra again. Namo Riddhyaram, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayuryaram, Namo Uvajayam, Namo Loe Sarva Samuram, Eso Panchanamu Yami, Saupa Parameshwarame, Mangalanam Sarveshware, Padmam
Mangalam.
जावानी के ज्ञान से सूझे लो कालो, देव्यान वाणी मस्तक धरूं सदा देहूं धोक, हे जिनवाणी भांति तो है जपू दिन रैन, सो पावे सुख चैन। Michhami Dukadam to everyone. Tam Shama. And thank you all for joining in time. Looking
Yep.
forward that you guys join back in the next session. Okay?
Okay.
Jai
Yep.
Jinendra. And
Jai
have a
Jinendra.
great week ahead. Jai Jinendra, beta.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.